If you live in Virginia or Norfolk and think CBD vape products are clearly legal or illegal, the reality is more complicated. Today we're breaking down what Virginia law actually says, how enforcement works, and why misunderstandings around CBD vapes can lead to serious legal trouble. Here's the context, why this topic matters. CBD vape products are widely sold, widely used, and widely misunderstood. In Virginia, the law treats CBD very differently depending on how it is formulated, marketed, and sold. Norfolk adds another layer through local enforcement priorities and zoning practices. This video is not about promoting cannabis or CBD use. This is a legal and regulatory breakdown designed to help viewers understand the system, the agencies involved, and the risks of misinformation. Here's the legal foundation, federal versus Virginia law. At the federal level, hemp-derived CBD is legal under the 2018 Farm Bill if it contains no more than 0.3% delta-9 THC by dry weight. However, federal legality does not automatically mean unrestricted legality at the state or local level. Virginia law adopts parts of the federal hemp framework but adds its own regulatory controls, especially when CBD is inhalable or marketed as a vape product. CBD vapes fall into a gray zone where hemp law, consumer protection law, and cannabis control law overlap. Virginia CBD Vape Regulations explained. In Virginia, CBD products are legal only when they meet strict criteria related to THC content, labeling, testing, and intended use. Vape products raise additional scrutiny because inhalation products are treated differently from topicals or ingestibles. Virginia regulators focus on three major factors. 1. THC concentration and testing accuracy. 2. Product labeling and marketing claims. 3. Whether the product resembles or substitutes regulated cannabis products. CBD vapes that are mislabeled, improperly tested, or marketed in a way that implies intoxication can trigger enforcement even if they originate from hemp. Norfolk and local enforcement realities. Norfolk does not write cannabis law, but it enforces zoning, business licensing, and local compliance standards. This means where CBD vape products are sold matters. How stores are licensed matters. Proximity to schools and youth-centered areas matters. Local enforcement may prioritize public safety, consumer protection, and regulatory clarity rather than intent. This is why businesses and individuals can face penalties even when they believe they are operating legally. Agency roles, who does what? A major source of confusion is misunderstanding agency authority. The Virginia Cannabis Control Authority regulates cannabis programs and oversees hemp-derived product compliance. Local governments like Norfolk enforce zoning, business licensing, and nuisance laws. Law enforcement acts based on statutory violations, not assumptions of legality. No single agency provides blanket approval for CBD vape products. Here's a scenario and how people get caught off guard. Imagine a Norfolk business selling CBD vape cartridges sourced from a legal hemp supplier. The product tests under the THC limit, but the label includes ambiguous language implying psychoactive effects. An inspection occurs. The product is flagged not because it contains illegal THC, but because the marketing and presentation violate consumer protection standards. This is how legal misunderstandings turn into citations or shutdowns. Who this affects. Understanding CBD vape regulations in Virginia does not affect just one group. It impacts multiple layers of the community, often in different and unexpected ways. First, it affects consumers who assume all CBD vape products are legal simply because they are derived from hemp. Many consumers rely on storefront availability or online advertising as proof of legality. In reality, legality depends on how a product is formulated, labeled, tested, and marketed. When consumers misunderstand this distinction, they may unintentionally possess or purchase products that fall outside Virginia's regulatory framework. Second, this directly impacts small businesses. Retailers often operate under incomplete or outdated information, especially when laws change faster than guidance. A business may believe it is compliant because it sources products from licensed suppliers, but compliance also depends on how those products are displayed, described, and sold. One inspection or complaint can result in warnings, fines, or forced product removal, even without malicious intent. Third, community advocates and educators are affected. Individuals who want to provide accurate information about Virginia cannabis policy often find themselves correcting rumors, viral clips, or oversimplified claims. Without clear legal literacy, advocacy efforts can unintentionally spread confusion rather than clarity. Finally, local policymakers and regulators are impacted. City councils, zoning boards, and enforcement agencies must respond to public concerns, business activity, and regulatory gaps without always having updated statewide clarity. This creates uneven enforcement across jurisdictions, including differences between Norfolk and other Virginia cities. Understanding the law protects people from accidental violations and reduces unnecessary conflict between communities, businesses, and regulators. Why this matters long-term. Virginia cannabis policy is still evolving, and CBD vape products sit at a sensitive intersection of hemp law, cannabis regulation, consumer protection, and public health considerations. As lawmakers continue to review intoxicating hemp products, inhalable substances are receiving increased scrutiny. This means that what is tolerated today may be more clearly restricted tomorrow. A lack of understanding now can lead to sudden compliance problems later. Clear legal understanding also matters because enforcement rarely announces itself in advance. Changes often occur through updated interpretations, agency guidance, or localized enforcement priorities rather than headline legislation. People who rely on outdated assumptions are more likely to be caught off guard. Another long-term issue is the speed of misinformation. Social media narratives often spread faster than regulatory updates, creating a false sense of certainty. When people believe something is legal because they heard it repeatedly online, that belief can override official guidance. Bridging the gap between policy and public understanding is critical. Education helps stabilize communities, reduce unnecessary enforcement actions, and encourage informed participation in future policy discussions. What to watch next? In upcoming videos, we will continue breaking down Virginia cannabis law in a clear, factual, and non-promotional way. We will examine how Virginia defines intoxicating hemp products and why that definition matters for enforcement. We will explain the difference between medical cannabis programs and retail hemp markets, including how oversight and compliance requirements differ. We will also explore zoning conflicts across Hampton Roads, including how location and municipal rules influence what businesses can legally operate. Finally, we will track enforcement trends across Virginia cities to help viewers understand how regulation is applied in practice, not just on paper. Each video will focus on law, policy, and compliance rather than opinions or lifestyle content. Question for the comments. Let me ask you a question. What part of Virginia CBD vape regulations do you find most confusing right now? Put your answer in the comments so we can address it in a future video and build content around the real questions people have. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Virginia-focused cannabis law education.